Welcome to American Cannabis Conversation Special. Yes, I said special on COVID-19 only. In the next hour, we're going to help you understand a lot of things you don't know about coronavirus and things you can do while you're waiting for the vaccine, or if you're not going to take the vaccine, what kind of things you can do to make yourself healthy and strong. First out of the chute today is my good friend Stuart. Stuart and I go back a little bit, and he's the guy that makes things happen. And he's going to talk to us today about the company and what it's been doing and what it's trying to do now to make people's lives better. Stuart, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you for having me back on the show. And my name is Stuart Tomc, Senior Vice President of Business Development for CV Sciences, and I joined the organization in 2014 to launch our CBD line. And this company has been in business since 2012, and Dan is one of the very first publicly traded CBD companies. This company, CV Sciences, has been a pioneer in the CBD industry, taking extraordinary effort to make high-quality, safe, and effective hemp CBD oil product. We've been a leader at the forefront of shaping the pathway in legalization. Our efforts helped to pass the Farm Bill, which liberated hemp CBD once and forever. And so, although we are a CBD company and we have been dedicated to unlocking the remarkable hemp plant, we've also been a nutritional dietary supplement and life science company the entire time. And I'm here today to talk about our new immunity product, CV Defense and CV Acute, the two most powerful, safe, natural immunity supplements of 2021.
Stuart, that's a lot. You've done a lot in a short period of time. I wonder, when you say you're a immunity company and you've got these two new products, CV Select and CV Defense, so you talked about the various things that you've done, but you now say you're also an immunity company. What made you decide to get into immunity product?
Well, we were always aware of the connection between stress and immunity. And many people started taking CBD because it was a natural way to help deal with stress. We now understand that the stress response and its connection to the immune system is indivisible. If your immune system is not at the ready, it's because you're too stressed out. So the CBD opened the conversation for us to present alternatives for people to feel better. As the science emerged, we learned more about how CBD works and how it's an alternative to anti-inflammatories and an alternative to anxiolytics, anti-anxiety medication, and CBD is even an alternative to dangerous opioid and painkillers. It's a logical extension of our company because the cannabinoid system inside of every cell of the body is part of the immune system itself. So that's why I say we were always an immunity company. We always had the vision of being bold and brave and carving out new territory and bringing products to market that never existed before.
Stuart, the issue really at hand today is that we are being consumed, is probably a good word, with the effects of COVID-19 on a global basis. And in the last 2 weeks, we've had two new substrains that have come out in England and recently in South Africa. We're dealing with something that's deadly. We have thousands of people that are dying every day and hundreds of thousands that are being affected. I believe, based on my conversations with people around the country, they have become frustrated about what's really going on. And they're frustrated that all you can do until I get a vaccine is wash my hands, wear a mask, and social distance. I think that they're losing confidence in those protocols. And so the CV Defense and Acute products that you've brought out actually empower the consumer to take charge of their health care and not wait for the government to try and come in and do something. I have grave concerns, Stuart, that we have people, we heard today from the vaccine manufacturers, don't take off your mask once you get your shot because it may take several weeks for you to build enough of immunity. And now they're talking about going from 21 days to 90 days for the second shot. So there's still a lot of vulnerability, and people are looking for something that they can depend on, safe, reliable, all natural would be terrific, but they're looking for something that they can empower themselves to do, and I think these two products do that.
I agree, and the science supports it. CV Acute and CV Defense are backed by research, cited by the World Health Organization for immune system challenges, rigorously tested for purity, safety, and benefits. It's safely used in hospitals. That's right, CV Acute is safely used in hospitals concomitantly with standard of care in Europe and in China. It's 100% plant-based, and it's a 3-ounce liquid. Here's how it works. You take 3 spoonfuls 3 times a day for 3 days, and you're done. The moment you feel something in your throat, you think you're going to be exposed, you get on an airplane, you're going to be around people, you take CV Acute to activate your immune system. It's delicious and it's fast-acting. And you take CV Defense daily. CV Defense provides daily support for barrier immunity, innate immunity, and adaptive immunity. What does that mean? It covers everything because we have to fortify the immune system. Our scientists and doctors and experts that work here at CV Sciences always talk about it. We must support our immune system if we expect to survive this pandemic. So we have a formula designed for daily use that features the most powerful ingredients of 2021 and a fast-acting antiviral syrup. I believe CV Sciences has the answer with these 2 products.
Stuart, I've been talking to some of the doctors over the last week or so that are on your staff and work with you, and they all said the same thing. Well, the best way to fight this virus is you got to get exercise and eat right in. And I said, doctor, come on, let's be realistic here. There'll be some people that will change their diet and they'll exercise and they'll do that. And a lot of people will probably do it for like 3 days and then they're off. They want something that they can count on, that they can do, that they are empowering themselves to take care of themselves, not waiting for something to happen from the government. And that's the secret of what these things could do. It puts the power in the person's hands to decide what they want to do and how they want to do it.
Exactly. I have spent my entire life, Dan, working in the natural product industry, working in the dietary supplement industry with some of the biggest companies. And this is our moment. And CV Sciences might be one of the leading voices right now to help empower people, to give them the tools, the product, the information, and more importantly, the permission to take care of yourself. Masks are not enough. Gloves are not enough. Social distancing is not enough. CV Defense, CV Acute need to be in the toolkit. We were working on these products, Dan, before the pandemic. When I said we're always an immunity company, stress destroys your immune system. You're not available. If you don't sleep and they vaccinate you, you get half the protection. If you've got a big body mass index, they vaccinate you, you don't get immunity. You don't get the right protection. So we were looking to get people healthy. Always here at CV Sciences. Our commitment to be bold and brave means we need to bring new ingredients and new products that people have not seen. If you're taking immune products, take CV Defense and CV Acute. They're non-redundant. What does that mean? If you're taking vitamin C, don't worry, that's not in our product. If you're taking elderberry, don't worry, that's not in our product. We have the most unique ingredients available today, supported by the World Health Organization, the ones that are backed by science and known to work.
We want people to take control, empower themselves. How do they empower themselves? By buying this product. Where do they go?
Well, they go to Empower Yourself, and they can see the CV Defense and CV Acute. We have a special. We have a package when you get 2 of them together, and a discount if you get 2 CV Defense and 1 CV Acute. Check out the landing page. Learn more about the most exciting immune-protecting products of 2021. Keep you, yourself, and your family safe.
Thank you for joining us today, Stuart. Always a pleasure to talk with you, and thank you for your insight. It's been very appreciated.
Thank you, Dan.
You can see CV Defense and CV Acute on www.empoweryourself.info. Hello, this is Dan Perkins from America's Cannabis Conversation, and I'm here to talk to you about CV Sciences, the company that developed the immune system support products called CV Acute and CV Defense. One of the questions I asked the company was, how safe and effective are these products? Recently, I interviewed Stuart Tomc on my show, and here is his response to my question.
Science supports it. CV Acute and CV Defense are backed by research cited by the World Health Organization for immune system challenges. It's safely used in hospitals. That's right, CV Acute is safely used in hospitals in Europe and in China.
If you want a productive immune system, you need to purchase both CV Defense and CV Acute. You can find out more information about both of these products at empoweryourself.info. Empower yourself and take charge of your response to COVID-19. You have the power to control yours and your family's health care.
Welcome to this special edition of America's Cannabis Conversation, the COVID special. Joining me right now is Dr. Michael Lewis, who I have met on the phone a couple of times. He's a phenomenal man, a former Army colonel, and he's going to talk to us about a little bit about his credentials to talk about COVID-19. So, Dr. Mike, thank you for joining us today.
It's great to be with you again, Dan.
So give us a profile, quick profile.
As you mentioned, I'm a retired Army colonel. I went to West Point undergrad, went out, played Army for a couple of years, and then went to Tulane Medical School down in New Orleans and did surgical internship, general practice for a few years at the Pentagon. Eventually got board certified in preventive medicine, public health, with training very specifically in international infectious diseases. Spent a bit of time overseas in Asia, hunting diseases, looking for new and interesting ones, and happened to be over there when SARS and bird flu happened, and then ultimately brought back to teach medical students the basics of epidemiology and infectious disease epidemiology at the military's medical school in Bethesda before I retired. So there's the quick summary for you.
That's an impressive resume. Thank you for sharing that with us. You did a much better job than I ever could. And I, for full disclosure, I am not a medical doctor. I'm not even a practicing physician. I'm just a talk show host who is fascinated with the subject. Doctor, let's jump right in and let's deal with what I think is the major problem facing America today, and that is a genuine skeptical or distrust of the vaccines that are being presented to the American people. The last report I saw was about 50% of Americans said they would try the vaccine. 50%. We have Native Americans, blacks, and brown people who are probably in the 40s. And if we got that kind of skepticism and we're not going to get enough people to get a herd immunity, what's going to happen? And as a result, what should people be doing to try and protect themselves? How can they empower themselves for their health care?
Well, keep in mind that there's two basic ways to develop herd immunity. One is through natural infection and one is through immunization. And one's not exclusive from the other. I mean, and in fact, we really should be looking at counting on both at this point. And so there's going to be that natural immunity that develops after you have an infection. You develop that antibody response. And then what immunization does is basically mimics that by either historically, it's been providing inactivated or reduced viruses that your body then reacts to. These new vaccines are actually kind of interesting. They're what we call mRNA, messenger RNA type of vaccines, which have never been used before. And so I'm sure that creates some angst as far as, well, this is new technology, but honestly, we needed a leap in technology to be able to get to where we are. As coronavirus has been around longer than mankind. I mean, they caused the common cold to everything, to as bad as SARS, where the mortality was much higher than what we're seeing with the current COVID. So we really needed a new technology, and so mRNA vaccines, they basically get the body to produce similar immune responses that help with that herd immunity. So it's really going to take both approaches. One of the questions you'd have to ask, of course, I think, is, and it's not being addressed particularly, is do you need a vaccine if you've had the disease? Historically, that's never been the case. And of course, we don't help our cause by having the vaccine company saying, well, yes, you do need to get the vaccine. Well, sure, they're going to say that because that's more money for them. But historically, if you had measles when you were a kid, you don't need a measles vaccine to develop immunity because you already have that. So there's lots of unanswered questions. We're a year into this. We still don't have a lot of questions answered that we really need to.
We'll rejoin our conversation with Dr. Mike after these commercial announcements from CV Sciences, helping you learn about their two new products. We'll be right back. Hello, this is Dan Perkins from America's Cannabis Conversation, and I'm here to talk to you about how you can take responsibility for your own health. CV Science products that can help you empower yourself against the COVID-19 virus are CV Acute and CV Defense. The Acute product is taken at an early onset of feelings of discomfort and works over 3 days to assist your immune system to fight off the virus. The second product is CV Defense, which is taken daily, and it helps to optimize the power of your immune system to fight off this virus. Recently on my program, I had an interview with Dr. Michael Lewis, who's been in public health for decades. I asked him about personal responsibility, and he said,
you are responsible for your own health. Don't count on the government to provide you with a magic pill or a magic shot for your health. That is your personal responsibility.
If you want to empower yourself and take control of your health care, then go to empoweryourself.info. That's empoweryourself.info and take care of your health care.
Welcome back to our fascinating conversation. I'm Dan Perkins, and joining us again is Dr. Mike. And Dr. Mike, we were talking in the last segment before the commercial break, we were talking about this product from CV Sciences. And I wanted to ask you the question, we have an awful lot of people, especially minorities, Black, Brown, and Native Americans, who have very great skepticism about taking the vaccine. Only about 43% of African Americans are interested in doing it, and that means almost 60% are not. So if we fall in that category, whether we're a minority or not, that we're not sure we want to take the vaccine now, so the things that you talked about before, the CV Acute and CV Defense, and other things, they should be doing those things right now while they're waiting to make up their mind?
Well, absolutely. It's something that particularly, if we would take COVID-19 out of the situation here, we're now in January. We're getting into the heart of cold and flu season. Typically, the flu peak early February. And so on a regular year, it's almost like seasonal allergies. In the spring when the flowers start to bloom, that you start, getting hay fever and sneezing or whatever, and you start taking your allergy medicines, for example. Well, I kind of take the same approach with cold and flu season. Is as it gets colder, it gets into November, December, for a couple months of the cold and flu season, we needed to be doing a little extra to keep our immune system strong. And we're not getting outside, and we're not getting fresh air as much as possible, unless you're, fortunate to live in a climate where you're able to do that year round. But most of us aren't. And so it becomes even more important to keep our immune system strong through what we consume. And that means both our diet, but also getting the regular exercise. But really, as you mentioned, what are we also consuming? What are we supplementing our consumption with? And I think CV Defense is a great foundation for just about anybody who wants to keep their immune system strong.
So I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I'm just listening to what you said, and I wanted to, because of the power of the COVID-19 virus, we as people of the world are going to have to change the way we live our lives and what we do, regardless of what country we're in, because this virus is global in nature. And so the idea that we're going to have to change really is to the better, because what you're saying is if we work on building a strong immune system, we have the best chance against whatever Mother Nature throws at us down the road.
Well, I think that you just summarized it as best as you can. Is it's not just about coronavirus or COVID-19. It's about the things that we're exposed to and we're exposed to on a daily basis. We're exposed to different viruses and bacteria and fungi and, all kinds of things on a regular daily basis. And that's why we have an immune system. And, the way our immune system continues to be strong is two things. One is you need those basic building blocks to keep it healthy, but you also need to exercise that immune system. It's like a muscle. If it doesn't get exercised through exposures to different things, it's gonna atrophy and not be available when you need it the most. And so we need to be exposed to things on a regular basis. So we really got to keep it strong on the other side of things, that nutritional foundation to keep our immune system strong. Things like zinc to keep our immune function going, vitamin D to keep our respiratory system healthy, and so on. It's absolutely important that we keep that foundation in place.
There's an old television commercial from the 70s about a spaghetti sauce called Prego. A person's asking the person holding a bottle of Prego about an ingredient, and the person says, it's in there. All the things that you talked about that are important, the nutrients and the vitamins, are in the CV Defense. So it's in one place, and you take it twice a day, and you're going to be taking it the rest of your life, but you're going to have a much better chance of defending yourself. Would you agree with that, Doctor?
Oh, absolutely. And I don't know what else I can really add to that. If you want to be healthy, you have to eat healthy, and you have to consume things that are going to keep you healthy. And in the absence of those, I'm not sure what you would expect. It's like saying you want to drive your car from this town to the next town 100 miles down the road, but you don't feel like you need to bother to put gas in the car. You're not going to get very far. And so, it kind of takes the whole thing. If you don't have the right fuel, how can you expect that car to get from here to there? And how can you expect your immune system to function when you need it to function?
Doctor, unfortunately, we're out of time. Thank you for joining us today. How can people reach you or follow you?
Well, the biggest thing is if you want to learn more about keeping your immune system healthy and the different things that you can do, I would go onto the YouTube channel and look up CV Sciences on the YouTube channel, C as in Charlie, V as in Victor, CV Sciences YouTube channel. Lots of great information about our immune system and our immune health.
Thank you. We've been speaking to Dr. Michael Lewis, an expert on a lot of things and good practical advice. Thank you for joining us today, Doctor.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Dan.
We'll be right back. Hello, this is Dan Perkins, and I want to talk to you about CV Science's new product to give you a healthy immune system. The all-natural product is called CV Defense, and this supplement is designed to protect you against attack on your immune system. Take it every day, keep your immune system and you healthy. Be proactive about protecting your immune system and protecting your body by using CV Defense. For more information, you can go to empoweryourself.info. That's empoweryourself.info.
Dan Perkins, and welcome to the special edition, the COVID-19 edition of America's Cannabis Conversation. And joining us today is Dr. Steve Schmitz, who's an expert in the field of
nutritional supplements.
But he's here basically to talk to us about COVID-19, the virus, and alternatives to the virus. Welcome to the program,
Dr. Steve.
Dan, it's great to be with you. Just a little bit about my background. I'm a family physician by training, but I've worked in the past in wellness, emergency medicine, occupational medicine. And for the last more than 20 years, I've worked in drug and dietary supplement safety, helping companies meet FDA requirements. I am a lifelong supplement taker, and supplements are, I think, critically important in boosting the immune system at this unprecedented time.
Doctor, let me ask you a question there. Why is it so important? We hear that, your immune system is important, but we don't get a lot of information as to why it's important and how important is it to fight the corona and other viruses.
Dan, it is critically important. The immune system, it's one of the most complicated systems in our body, and it consists of cells, chemicals, proteins, organs. Even though it's complicated, its mission is simple: protect you against infection and foreign invaders. Your immune system is like an army or a scout patrol on a 24/7 march, and it recognizes when your body has been invaded by something foreign, like the flu virus or the COVID virus. And so let me give you a quick example. You're outside, you scrape your knee, and you draw blood. And over the next week, your skin gets red, swollen, painful. That's your immune system sending cells to clean up and damage and restore your skin to its normal self. And so if your immune system's weak, you're going to be at higher risk of any kind of infection. And there are ways that, and the strength of your immune system is very much affected by your age, nutrition, and some other factors. Unfortunately, it gets weaker with age, which is one of the reasons why the elderly are more commonly affected by flu and COVID-19. And unfortunately, some of the essential micronutrients, meaning vitamins and minerals, that keep your immune system running at its best are not found in a typical American diet. So supplementing these micronutrients can really help you enhance your immune status.
One of the things, Doctor, that we've heard about from Dr. Fauci, that he takes zinc and he takes vitamin A and vitamin D, and especially vitamin D, because the best place to get vitamin D naturally is through the sunlight. But if we cover ourselves with a skin blocker or sun blockers and don't go outside, we become deficient, and we have to take a vitamin D3 supplement, a substantial. And that's an important part of the ability to rebuild or strengthen your immune system, isn't it?
Absolutely. And vitamin D is getting a lot of attention right now. And one of the challenges you mentioned, it's sun-activated vitamin, is vitamin D levels are lowest in the winter, which is precisely when flu season and COVID-19 season is maxing out. And so vitamin D stimulates your immune cells, and so it's good to have an adequate amount.
So, Doctor, there's a lot of stories going around the minorities, the blacks, the browns, and the Native American people. They have, I guess, in their epidemiology, actually blockers that prohibit or dramatically reduce the ability to absorb the vitamin D from the sunlight. Do I get that right?
Well, another factor is dark skin. So the UVB rays penetrate the skin, and then they activate a substance in the skin. So if you've got extra pigment, the sun doesn't penetrate as deeply, and that may be probably an important reason for that.
So what other supplements would be important in a regimen to try and build up the strength of your immune system?
Well, you mentioned what Dr. Fauci was on, and I'm a big fan of Dr. Fauci. And 4 of the things that Dr. Fauci takes are included in a supplement that I take on a daily basis called CV Defense. And I actually think it's the most exciting immune support product in years. And it contains, here's what it contains. It contains 2 vitamins, vitamin A and vitamin D, 2 minerals, zinc and selenium, a mushroom, a reishi mushroom, and then finally another important ingredient called palmitoyl ethanolamide, or PEA. And these products are anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and I think provide a great deal of immune boosting and immune protection.
And so the CV Defense is something you take every day?
That's right. CV Defense is every day, and I honestly think everybody ought to be taking it. I gave it to my wife and kids for Christmas presents, and I think it's the defense in its name is really what it's trying to do. It's trying to help you defend against viruses.
You actually gave this to your children and your wife for Christmas?
Well, my children are in their 20s, yes. I gave it as a gift. I mean, I honestly think that it may be the single most important supplement to take, especially at this unprecedented time, because of its anti-inflammatory properties and those other vitamins and minerals that are very useful for boosting the immune system. So I want my immune system at top speed at all times.
How would people get a chance to talk to you or send you a message or follow what you're doing?
Sure. If you want to contact me, I can be reached at Dr. Schmitz at Supplement Safety Solutions. That's all one word and no space. DRSCHMITZ at supplementsafetysolutions.com.
We'll be rejoining Dr. Schmitz after this commercial break from our sponsor, CVSciences.com. We'll be right back. Hello, this is Dan Perkins from America's Cannabis Conversation, and I'm here to talk to you about CV Sciences products that can help you empower yourself against COVID-19 virus. The 2 products are CV Acute and CV Defense. The Acute product is taken at the early onset of feeling discomfort and works over 3 days to assist your immune system to fight the virus. The second product is CD Defense, which is taken daily, and it helps to optimize the power of your immune system to fight off the virus. Recently on my program, I interviewed Dr. Stephen Schwartz, and I asked him why he gave CV products, both Acute and Defense, to his wife and children for Christmas. And he said,
And I gave it to them because I love them and I want them to be around.
If you're concerned about you and your family's health because of the coronavirus, you should consider purchasing both CV Defense and CV Acute. You can find out more information about these products at empoweryourself.info. That website again is empoweryourself.info. Take control of your health care and fight the virus on your terms.
Welcome back. This is Dan Perkins, and we're speaking with Dr. Stephen Schmitz on COVID-19 treatment. So, Doctor, in our last segment, you talked about CV Defense. They also have another product called CV Acute. How is that different between the two, and why would you have one over the other?
Well, Dan, they're complementary products. So CV Acute is something that you take at the onset of symptoms of a viral infection. Could be a scratchy throat, could be a low-grade fever, and you take it for 3 days. It's very different because it actually helps your body fight a viral infection.
So how does it do that?
Well, let me tell you what's in that. So it's an oral dietary supplement, and it consists of 3 authentic and well-researched herbs that have been used extensively. It's known as Shunghung Lean, or SHL. Now, in the SHL formula, it consists of 750 milligrams each of the flower of the honeysuckle, the root of the Chinese skullcap, and the fruit of the forsythia. Now, this has been used for over 50 years for the treatment of things like upper respiratory tract infections, pharyngitis or sore throat, acute bronchitis, and pneumonia. And interestingly enough, during the 2003 SARS epidemic, it was used in conjunction with other traditional therapies, and the World Health Organization stated that it was a safe and effective herbal formula. It has antiviral, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, anti-fever, and immunomodulating properties. And it really helps prevent the virus, whatever virus that is, from attaching, from entering your cell, from multiplying, and then doing its damage. So it's something that I think everybody ought to have when they travel, in their travel kits, when they go on a plane, when they go for a long drive out of state.
How do we know that what you said was in there is actually in there, in both formulas?
Sure. Well, for the CV Acute, that's a great question, Dan, because the SHL is a well-known herbal combination. And it turns out that there are people who put fake herbs. And so what CV Science uses only authentic herbs. They're not counterfeit. And by scanning, what you can do with their bottle is you can scan the barcode, and it takes you directly to what's called a COA, a Certificate of Analysis, which is proof of the manufacturing process. So you know you're getting the authentic product when you take CV Science's CV Acute.
Yeah.
Go
ahead, please.
In terms of CV Defense, CV Sciences has a history of manufacturing to the highest degrees of quality. They've received awards with their other products. And in terms of CV Defense, CV Sciences has been a publicly traded company for over 5 years, and they have a long history of making high-quality products using good manufacturing practices.
Good. Are you recommending it to other patients?
I am. I'm recommending it to patients. I'm recommending it to friends. I'm recommending it to family, because I think that people are tired of just waiting for the virus to approach them. And I think that this is a way of empowering ourselves to do something like boosting our immune system. So if we're exposed to a virus, and it's hopefully not COVID-19, that our immune system is ready to fight that infection and minimize whatever symptoms might develop.
I think you made a very important point, and that is empowering yourself. I think there is a tremendous amount of frustration on the part of millions and millions of Americans. They'd like something to do other than wear a mask or pump a bottle of hand sanitizer, because that can only go so far. So the idea that these two products can empower you to take care of your health care and give you the best possible chance to fight this infection should it attack you. Doctor, we're about 20 seconds left. How can people follow you or get in touch with you?
Sure. If you want to contact me, I can be reached at Dr. Schmitz at Supplement Safety Solutions. That's all one word and no space. DRSCHMITZ at supplementsafetysolutions.com.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for joining us today and help us learn more about how we can empower ourselves to deal with this coronavirus, Dr. Schmitz.
It's been my pleasure, Dan, and I look forward to continuing the conversation.
Sure, thank you. If you missed any of this terrific interview with Dr. Schmitz, you can go to W420radionetwork.com and go to the archive section. Look for the special on COVID-19 and look for the interview of Dr. Schmitz. We'll be right back.
Hello, this is Dan Perkins, and I want to talk to you about CV Science's new product to give you a healthy immune system. The all-natural product is called CV Defense. It contains vitamin A, D3, along with zinc and selenium, all the nutrients you've been hearing about and more for COVID-19 treatment. Why not let CV Defense help you build a strong immune system to protect you? For more information, go to empoweryourself.info. That's empoweryourself.info. Welcome to America's Cannabis Conversation, and we're doing a special 1-hour show only on COVID-19 with guests and scientists and doctors from CV Sciences. It's going to be an exciting and interesting and educational show.
And joining us today is Dr. Joe Maroon, who is a scientist who's very much intimately involved in a lot of things in science, but also involved in COVID-19. Dr. Joe, welcome to the conversation.
Thank you so much, Dan. It's my pleasure.
Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about you so they can get a flavor of why you're on the show, because you're an expert.
Sure, absolutely. I'm a neurosurgeon here at the University of Pittsburgh and been working here for several decades. And my primary interest has been in the treatment and the prevention and treatment of traumatic brain injuries, spinal cord injuries, and have been an operative neurosurgeon for 35 years plus. Remain quite active athletically in sports, competitive triathlete, and have competed in 8 Ironman distance races and continue to race despite a rather advanced age, Dan. And I'm also, of course, still taking care of patients and extremely concerned about the pandemic that has taken actually many people that I've known. So that I'm pleased to discuss this with you and what we can do to empower ourselves to obviate the tragic circumstances associated with this virus.
We'll get to that in just a minute. I have one quick question. Stuart told me to ask you, do you have a Steelers championship ring?
I have 2.
Two. So
yes, I've been with the Steelers for over 30 years and 2 Super Bowls, 1 AFC championship, and several hundreds of games.
Okay, and you also involved with the NBA too?
I've given talks to the NBA on the endocannabinoids and endocannabinoid system, but I'm actually the medical director for World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE.
Wow. Okay. So what got you interested in COVID? I know you said you lost some friends. Were you involved in it before that happened, or was that this catalyst that got you involved?
No, I mean, being in healthcare, I'm obviously very attuned to what's going on with my patients and also myself. I mean, I'm over 65, and I'm very concerned about the consequences of this, the cardiogenic consequences, and we now are recognizing the brain effect and cognitive impairment that's associated with these virus infections, a form of encephalitis, so that I'm very concerned personally, but also for my patients, my family, and my friends.
So what are you telling your patients to do?
Well, I think we all know there are several things: a good diet, exercise, take care of yourself. But, what I'm really looking at, and I advise people to do, is to protect their immune system in the best way they can in order to fight off the virus when and if, and almost certainly it will, be in your environment. And what I do initially, I use what's called CV Defense, which is an immune system, an immunomodulator, as we say, that contains 2 vitamins, a couple of minerals, and then a very powerful anti-inflammatory and analgesic called PEA, a compound called palmitoyl ethanolamide, which has been around for about 30 or 40 years, and also a specific mushroom extract, which also affects the immune system. So that by taking product that I take every day called CV Defense for immune support, with vitamin A, D3, zinc, and selenium, and the other ingredients I just mentioned, I want to enhance my immune system. So, what does that mean? Well, we all know what happens if you get a splinter under your finger. Your finger becomes red hot, tender, and swollen. Well, this is the body's natural protective mechanism to wall off infection and heal the area of injury. Well, with the COVID virus, this same red hot, tender, and swollen reaction occurs in your lungs, in the alveoli of the lungs, and causes a huge release of inflammatory agents that causes what's now recognized as a cytokine storm. These are chemical agents in our body, usually to protect us, but when secreted in over amounts, creates a terrible inflammatory response, like your finger with a splinter, that doesn't heal and just keeps festering, and this happens in your lungs. So again, we want to take whatever we can and do whatever we can to enhance our immune function. And if there is a problem, there's another product that I have readily available called CV Acute, which is also immune support, but also a very significant antiviral effect that helps modulate the inflammatory response, but also suppresses viral replication within the cells and viral release. So these are two products that I take regularly or have available to me to enhance my immune system.
Doctor, I want to pursue that, but we're up against a hard break, so we'll take a break and then we'll come back in our second session and we'll talk about this. We're talking to Dr. Joe Maroon, who happens to have 2 Super Bowl rings and is a medical consultant to the WWE. Interesting job. Thank you, Doctor, for your patience right now, and we'll be right back after this message from CV Science.
Hello, this is Dan Perkins from America's Cannabis Conversation, and I'm here to talk to you about CV Science's product, CV Defense, which can fight the Corona-19 virus in your lungs. CV Defense can help you empower yourself against the Corona-19 virus. CV Defense, which is taken daily, helps to optimize the power of your immune system to fight off viruses in your lungs. Recently on my program, I interviewed Dr. Joseph Maroon, and he explains what CD Defense can do in your lungs if you get COVID-19.
So what we want to do with CV Defense is do everything we can to prevent the inflammatory response from raging like a forest fire.
If you want healthy lungs, you need a healthy immune system. You need to purchase CV Defense, and you can find out more information about this product at empoweryourself.info. That's empoweryourself.info. And let CV Defense take care of your lungs.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Dr. Joe Maroon, who, besides being a surgeon, is worked with the Pittsburgh Steelers and has 2 Super Bowl rings, and also is a consultant to the WWE. In our last part of the previous conversation, he started talking about inflammation in the lungs. And I said to the doctor during the break, we got to talk about that again because your description. So what I want you to do is I want you to tell the audience again what this virus does to the lung tissue, and then how can either CV Acute or CV Defense help combat that, which I think is just amazing or devastating inflammation. So tell us again about the inflammation in the lungs and what happens.
Yeah, so that all of us have at one point had the cold or had a flu, and basically what happens, the virus is inhaled and gets into our bloodstream and also attacks the alveoli, which are the little air sacs in our lungs that enable oxygen to enter our bloodstream and carbon dioxide to be exhaled. Well, imagine these alveoli getting swollen and inflamed like your finger would if a splinter were chronically lodged into it. The body's immune system.
Are you saying that the tissue in your lungs, these, whatever you call them?
Alveoli.
Yes, they actually swell?
Yes, they swell and they get plugged up.
And so that the amount of oxygen that gets into your blood and the removal of the waste from your blood is dramatically reduced. Is that a fair layman's?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Well, I don't write prescriptions, but I pay attention. So this is the serious part of this virus is that it virtually attacks. This is why we need so many ventilators. We never knew why until now why we needed so many ventilators, and it's because we can't breathe on our own. Do we suffocate if we don't get ventilators? Is that the ultimate outcome?
Yes.
Wow. So given
you get
that
deprived of oxygen,
and you just suffocate,
your brain and your organs shut down.
Wow.
Because you can't get enough oxygen into your bloodstream.
So how do either CV Defense or CV Acute deal with that plugged ducts or whatever the right word is?
Okay. So as we're discussing, the alveoli, which are the air sacs in our lung, become inflamed. And if they become inflamed, the oxygen and carbon dioxide ratio is poor. You don't get enough oxygen into your blood, into your brain, into your heart, and your organs shut down because of the swelling of the lungs and the inflammation. So what we want to do with CV Defense is do everything we can to prevent the inflammatory response from raging like a forest fire. And that's where we know that vitamin A, vitamin D3, there are many hundreds of articles now on vitamin D3, and zinc and selenium, both of these minerals enhance the immune system. They make our immune system stronger. And then PEA that I mentioned is a remarkable anti-inflammatory, meaning reduces inflammation, and analgesic, and then also an antiviral. So this whole combination of CV Defense immune support means that you're protecting yourself against the onslaught. Now, let's say the virus does break through the barrier of our immune system and starts burning just like a wildfire in our lungs, causing massive inflammation. Then the ingredients that are in CV Acute have been actually shown and commented on by the World Health Organization to markedly reduce, again, the inflammatory process that's going on. Forsythia, honeysuckle, skullcap are herbs and traditional products, traditional materials that have been used for centuries in Eastern medicine to counteract inflammation in our body. So that there are many scientific papers supporting the immunomodulatory effects of both of these products to enhance our immune system. You know, I'd like to say keep your exercise, eat the right diet, meditate, pray. All these things are good in reducing stress, which contributes to a weakening of our immune system. But what you can do actively today is to utilize products such as this to enhance your immune system, because you are going to be exposed by this virus.
I want to thank you for coming and visiting with us today. How can people get a hold of you?
josephmaroon.com is my website.
Okay.
josephmaroon.com.
So thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely. My pleasure, sir.
You can get more information on CV Acute and CV Defense by going to empoweryourself.info. That's empoweryourself.info. If you missed any of this terrific and informative interview with Dr. Joe Maroon, you need to go to W420radionetwork.com. Go to the archive section and you can listen to this interview with Dr. Maroon. We'll be right back after a message from CV Science. Hello, this is Dan Perkins, and I want to talk to you about CV Science's new product to fight infection from COVID-19. The all-natural product is called CV Acute, and this supplement is designed to attack infections developing in your lungs from COVID-19 or other viruses. It's simple. When you get a tickle, you take 3 doses a day for 3 days in a row, and you're done. Be proactive about protecting your immune system and protecting your lungs by using CV Acute. For more information, go to empoweryourself.info. That's empoweryourself.info. Welcome back to America's Cannabis Conversation special on COVID-19. And joining us today is the man who's responsible for all the stuff that goes on at CV Science. We have the CEO, Joe Dowling, with us. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Dan. Really happy to be here.
So, Joe, you've got two very unusual products that can help a lot of people. How did they come to be? How did you put it together?
So, all of our products go through a very rigorous process of development where we really start with an idea based on market needs and really human health and wellness needs. So this really started even before the pandemic came on. And we saw that there was a need in the market for health and wellness products that would really, really boost your immune system and allow you to function, whether it would be for something like influenza or other issues like that. And we felt like we needed a couple of different products, one that would be a little bit more therapeutic and one that would be a little bit more defensive to help really boost your immune system so that you could function or potentially avoid these types of health and wellness issues. And so that was what really drove us. And then we were able to come to these two products because of being able to put together sort of the base and core ingredients in each of them, which both have tremendous science to back them up in terms of their benefit. And so that's really what got us into it. And then when COVID hit, it didn't affect anything that we were doing, but it was just another example of some of the virus strains that we're all dealing with, whether it's the sort of the annual influenza virus, which mutates and varies every year, to this one that we're now dealing with, which of course is also now mutating, which is not unsurprising, and likely to be something that we may have to deal with every year, much like the influenza virus. So all of that went into our thinking and was part of the process, and we're very, very pleased with the products that we've been able to launch.
I think they're amazing. I've talked to a lot of your people, had them on the air and done interviews with them, and the doctors and the research people. It's just amazing. Why was this important to you to make sure it was available to your employees?
Dan, I'll tell you, this is one of the most challenging times to be running a company. Precautions that we have to take and that we need to take to protect our employees are just huge. Not only are we about 70 to 80% remote, but we also have had to implement all of the precautions, including mandatory face covering, social distancing, hygiene, and we've also had to platoon those employees that had to be here, like the warehouse folks, and we can't have them all working the same shift because if one gets sick, they all get sick. And so we've had to put a whole bunch of things in place just to make sure that we can function as a company. One of the things, once we developed these products, that I made the decision was, what a great way to further help protect our employees by making these products available to our employees at no cost. And so that just made good, not only, sense that it's the right thing to do for our employees, just to maintain their health and wellness, but also it's a good business decision. We don't want any business interruption. And we saw this as just, the right thing to do to keep our people healthy and, really helping to ensure that we're not going to have an interruption or someone gets sick and take the whole company down. And so we just thought it made a lot of good sense on many fronts.
So we have got about a minute and a half left in this segment. So as a CEO, you looked at it from the standpoint of it made good business sense to protect your employees, but you were also protecting your shareholders and protecting your company.
And everything, if you're making good decisions with your employees, they're a core asset of the company and critical to developing value for shareholders. And so if your employees go down, you're going to have a loss in value. Clearly, it could completely interrupt business. And so this was, a decision that made sense on every front, whether it's just starting with the human level of protecting your employees, which we were most concerned about, but it kept the company going, and it's good for shareholders. So on every front, this was a really, I think, easy decision.
And what would you, in the about 30 seconds we've got left in this segment, what would you say to your fellow CEOs about considering a similar philosophy?
I think it makes sense for CEOs to always think first about their employees. And this is a great way to help, whether it's me doing it here at our company or other CEOs that may want to do the same thing with these products to help boost the immune system of their employees. I think it's a great idea and a very good investment for other CEOs that may want to consider doing.
You look at the cost for 1 month use of their products versus the loss of an employee or turn down of an assembly line. It's cheap. I hate to use the word, but it really is. It's inconsequential to the benefits that it produced to keep your company going.
There's no question. It doesn't move the needle in terms of the expense at all. But not doing it, not taking those kind of precautions could shut down an assembly line, could shut down your ability to ship from your warehouse. So, very small things like that have shut big companies down. So we just thought this made all the sense in the world.
So we've been talking to Joe Dowling, who's the CEO of CV Sciences, and we'll be right back after this message from his company. We'll be right back.
Hello, this is Dan Perkins from America's Cannabis Conversation, and I'm here to talk to you about CV Sciences, the company that developed the immune system support products CV Acute and CV Defense. They found the best way to protect their shareholders and their company was by protecting their employees. I had Joe Dowling, the president and CEO, on my show recently, and we talked about making the right decisions for everybody. He made products available free to all of his employees because it was the best chance the company had to keep people working. I'm keeping the company alive. Here's what Joe said when I asked about the decision of giving away the products free to his employees.
What a great way to further help protect our employees by making these products available to our employees at no cost. And so that just made good, not only, sense that it's the right thing to do for our employees, just to maintain their health and wellness, but also it's a good business decision.
If you want to find out how you can protect your employees, then go to empoweryourself.info.
And we're back, and we're talking to Joe Dowling, who is the CEO of CV Sciences, and we're talking about his products, CV Defense and CV Acute. Joe, I want to turn to a little different question. A lot of people in this country, myself included, want this damn thing to be over with, but it doesn't look like it's going to be. As somebody who's so acutely aware of what's going on, what do you think is likely to happen here when we're dealing with this COVID-19 virus? What's your crystal ball say?
So rather than a crystal ball, I think what we should do is be smart and be super just practical about the fact that it's likely that we will be living with this virus or a form of this virus forever. So
wow.
What should we do? Yeah, it is wow. I think that it will probably result in there being some kind of an annual vaccine that can be better designed, more effective, and hopefully can be effective against all strains or future strains of this virus. And so I think as a result, it makes all more important the need for all of us to do everything beyond the vaccines, including, all the usual things that we should be doing, plus supplementation of your diet with products like ours, our CV Defense product. We think
Joe,
that makes a lot of sense.
I'm sorry for interrupting. I apologize. I've been talking to a lot of doctors in the last month. When I asked the question, what should we do, I get the same answers. It's like they went to the same school. You should do exercise. You should eat better, quit smoking, all those wonderful things. I listen to them and then I say to them, doctor, let's be realistic. Some people will do that. The vast majority of people might try it for a week or 10 days and then they're going back. They need something. The American people is desperately, I believe, looking for something that they can depend upon, that they can take every day, and they know it's going to be there for them and it's going to give them help in their immune system. Isn't that what you're about with your products?
You're spot on. Yes, everyone should do the obvious things. And I don't want to preach to anybody about their choices. And we all know what the best choices are. So no need to list them here. But one thing that we can all do is to supplement our nutrition plan every day with a product like CV Defense, which we believe it is a very, very sensible and easy and affordable way to really help protect yourself and increase health and wellness.
So in the couple of minutes we have left, I got to go a little bit different direction. And I talked about this, so it's cold like all the interviews that I do. It's one-on-one and you give you your best shot. It seems to me, I'm not a medical person, but it seems to me what you're saying is that this virus is going to be with us forever, and there are going to be new viruses. What should we be doing as a world to try and figure out where these viruses are emanating from and destroy it?
That's a big question, Dan. It's a good one. So, it's not anything that I think we can avoid. And if you've read enough science on this, one of the big reasons is that there's 8 billion people on the planet. We interact much more closely with other species than ever before. So it's much easier for interspecies, for viruses to go from one species to another, which is what a lot of, what we're talking about includes, including flu viruses, by the way. And so we're going to have to be more diligent at combating viruses as they emerge, and because they're going to continue to emerge. And we're going to be living with viruses forever. They're not going away. They're part of human organisms and other species as well. So it's not something that we can kill forever. Some viruses can be. Yeah, it is a darn. And we have to be honest with ourselves about the reality of living with just things like this. There are viruses that live in other species that are not harmful to those species, but when they jump into another species like humans, then they're very harmful. So as we live closer and closer to other animals, then the likelihood that that's going to happen increases.
True, and it's a dangerous situation. So the CV Defense and CV Acute are products. Anything in the pipeline that you're thinking about?
Of course, yeah, we do. We think we have a couple of other products that will round out our immunity product line, and we're hopeful that perhaps by the early second half of 2021, we'll be able to launch one or more products to supplement the two products that we have.
Wonderful. We'll look forward to having you back on. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
You've been listening to my conversation with Joe Dowling, the CEO and president of CV Sciences. And how do they follow you again, Joe?
So the name of the company is CV Charlie Victory Sciences. And you can go to our website at cvsciences.com and check us out. There's information about the company as well as our products, including our immunity line products that we've been discussing.
You can also learn more information about the specific products here by going to empoweryourself.info for more information on the products.
If you missed any of this great interview, you need to go to W420radionetwork.com, go to the archive section, and look for this interview with Joe Dowling from CV Sciences. We'll be right back.
Hello, this is Dan Perkins, and I want to talk to you about CV Sciences' new product to give you a healthy immune system. The all-natural product is called CV Defense, and this supplement is designed to protect you against attack on your immune system. Take it every day, keep your immune system and you healthy. Be proactive about protecting your immune system and protecting your body by using CV Defense. For more information, you can go to empoweryourself.info. That's empoweryourself.info.
America's Cannabis Conversation.